Welcome to the Doggy Dojo. My name is Trevor Smith. We are on week 5 of All-Star Foundations, which means we're going to be covering things like cone wrapping and getting your dog's front paws up and doing position changes for canine fitness on wobbly pieces of equipment, how to get started on that, how to get your dog motivated about toys when they don't like toys at all, and much more. So stay tuned in today's video. Of course, we have Mochi here. He doesn't look very lively, as you can see on the ground over here. But he's just waiting for his chance to have some fun today, and I hope you guys are ready as well. Before we jump in, make sure not to miss a single Doggy Dojo video by subscribing down below. Go ahead and hit that like button or comment along the way if you have any questions, and we'll be answering them in a future video for you. So without further ado, let's jump into some cone wrapping. Now I have something a little bit different. These are little orange pylons, and what they're used for is, and human fitness, you put them in a row like this and they weave between them and all that stuff. But today we're using them for somewhat of a different purpose, but similar. And we're going to go ahead and place them like this, side by side. Now we've done leg weaves with our puppies, with our dogs, and that looks similar like this. But I had a student recently of mine. I was a little bit nervous. Not only is it hard for them to bend down and weave their dogs between the legs. And that person was a owner of a giant Mastiff. And of course, they were not a short person, but it doesn't matter. That Mastiff is huge. And they're like, weaving between my legs is a little bit difficult. So similar to that is we can use these little cones. And you can use 2 chairs, 2 cones, 2 pylons, whatever you want to works well. And same concept is we're just going to ask our dog, oh, it's a little harder for him to understand what we're doing, to weave between them. Yes, good job. Drop a treat. Weave between, search. And I'm just dropping the treats along the arch, or along the arc, I should say, of where I want him to go to next. Search. Oh, right there. There. Good. So I'm going to demonstrate what that doesn't look like real quickly. And that is, if you're getting your dog to come around here and you do a search out and away from the objects, then they won't want to gravitate towards them. And it's always a game of luring them back to the thing, which this exercise right here is slicing and turning on a jump eventually for dog agility. So it's not a bad thing. But right now we're looking on a figure 8 aspect. So I'm going to throw the treat down to where they're going to end up after they eat the treat. Just right there. See how that works out? It makes it a lot smoother approach for them. What's great about this game is you can do it wide, you can do it narrow. So we're going to narrow it down a little bit for him, a little bit more difficult. And this is going to help work on extension in the spine and collection in the spine, helping prepare for weave pulls and wing wraps for dog agility and other dog tricks. If I didn't mention already, here comes our co-trainer of the whole series, my wonderful daughter. She's been helping us out and providing some natural distractions, and also she's been helping out with some of the games and training as well. And I love the fact that my puppy has started to, oh my gosh, the puppy took the cup. Let's see what we got here. Can you say thank you? There we go. It's okay. Okay. Puppy didn't know any better, and that's one of our problems, right? And it happens. Kids say, hey, that's my cup, that's my things. So it's a little training for her to be careful with her toys around the dog. It's training for him to leave things alone when I ask him to. But this is just life, right? So, and my daughter loves these little things here, as you'll see here in a second. That's just one of the games you can play with that. Another game with this aspect that we can play, we can take one of these cones, is we can actually line my puppy up to the cone and work on wrapping. So I'm going to actually grab his collar right here. So that collar grab game is coming into play. And we're going to kind of lean over this little cone. Break. Get it. Yes. And then reward. Ready? Let's try again. Here. Ready? Break. Get it. Yes. Good job. Now, I can easily get him to wrap this doing this. I'll show you a second. As I could take the treat and go, okay, wrap the thing. That's what we were just doing, right? And that's cool. That's great. And this are our foundations, as you'll see, for developing front crosses and rear crosses with our dogs. Yes, good job. Search. So the collar grab was throwing him off. He was thinking, do I need to stay still? Ready? break. Right between the kid and everything. Yes, good job, Search. Good job. Thank you so much. You want some? Sit. Good job. So the collar guy was actually throwing him off a little bit. He was thinking that he needs to stay when I held his collar. Something just to know, like for training wise. So just kind of running up to it and holding and pausing is good. Well, why don't we want to lure around the object? It's not terrible to lure around, but then when I want him to wrap this cone or wrap a wing, for instance, I'm going to show you here now. When I want him to eventually wrap this wing, I don't have to come all the way here. Why don't you get it? Come all the way up here and go all the way around the wing and then back again. I like to be able to walk up here, say wrap or check, 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 and he goes and he does himself. So eventually I can come way back here, say wrap or check, check, check. You ready? Ready? Go. Ready? Yes, good job. Eventually I want to be able to send him from a distance and be okay with that. And if I have to come all the way up and show him how to wrap it, that's going to be difficult. So this is just things to experiment with and play with and what we're going to look toward in the future. This game next week we're going to be tackling called the Veto game, and it's a very good game to teaching your dogs to wrap objects, and we're going to tackle that in more detail next week. So stay tuned for that. So let's talk about front paw placement for our puppies for canine fitness on top of objects, which will help develop their jumping behaviors and their contact behaviors in dog agility. So to do that, I'm going to do something that everyone get their hands on, and that is a knee pad that you can get online easily. Very nice thing to get. You can also, if you want to go a little further, you can get things like the Propel. Those are awesome too. So the first front paw placement we did, I think, was the bowl. And we talked about that last week. Go ahead and get Mochi back over here, but we're going to use this pad. It's real easy for him to get up on. It's low. And then we're going to work on position changes on top of that pad. Mochi, you ready? So I'm going to do search. And then he puts his front paws up here. I'm going to say yes and reward that behavior. Good job. Very good. I'm going to do sit. Yes. Good job. Stand. Yes. Good job. Sit. Yes. Good job. Stand. Yes. Good job. Now he's doing what's called rock back sit. I'd also like to get a tuck sit in there. But then we can also work on down. Go down. Stand. Stand. Down. Down. And stand. Good. And that's just developing like a puppy push-up, little behavior here. Him keeping his paw still is important because as things get wobblier, as things get more wobbly on him, it'll make it more difficult if his paws aren't stationary. Search. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out this as well. And I'm actually going to show you something really cool here in a second. Yes, good boy. Good. Sit. Sit. Yes, good boy. Stand. Yes, good boy. Down. A little harder. It's a little higher. Down. Yes. Stand. Yes, good job. So you can see all those things are helpful. And what that can turn into for dog agility is helping with contact work, helping with lifting off for jump work, but also for tricks, getting our front paws proprioceptively on top of objects, for like things like the skateboard, can be also helpful. No, good job, yes. And him being okay with putting his front paws up on objects is really good. Now he's done a little skateboard work before, not which is his front paws, but all four paws. But just to kind of give you a picture of how canine fitness can be really important for him to be able to do anything we ask him to do for his life as a dog. So this week we've tackled a lot of canine fitness elements, and we also want to tackle toy training and making sure dogs are comfortable with us and listening to us around toys. Let's just say your dog may or may not like toys. Next, we're going to jump into some toy games and ask our dogs to engage toys utilizing food. So some of your dogs might have a high food drive and don't want to engage toys, or they might engage toys, but as soon as food comes out, they'll stop engaging their toy. So we're going to show you a couple things with that. If you ever struggles with this, it's something you can start today. Is you can get like puzzle toys, like Kong wobblers, just straight Kong, West Paw toys, things like that, to get your dog to associate putting my nose or paws or mouth on an object that is not food related, other than the fact that there's food inside of it, is going to deliver me a piece of food. Will get your dog to have more want to do that. And you can actually do it together with your dog. So there's actually some things in here as well. Oh, speaking of someone that loves his toys, he does have an elephant. This is your elephant, isn't it? Yeah. You can play with me and Mochi if you'd like. Okay, so let's just pretend that Mochi isn't very big on toys. What we can actually do is we can start to engage him with toys, like go ahead and show him there's food in there. Thank you. You're so nice. Yes, good job. Help him out if he needs to. You know, play the game with him, that if he engages it with his nose, if he engages with his paw, or engages with his mouth, we're going to make sure if food doesn't come out, that food does come out. That way the dog gets more and more engaged with this, and then also is okay with you playing with it. Because that can be another thing is there's sometimes a precedence of my hand coming towards an object that you might have. Let's just say he picked up this toy. There's things that they're not supposed to have, and our hands coming towards them with objects in their mouth or that they're engaging is punishing. They want to avoid that situation because they know, oh my gosh, he's coming to grab the toy from me because he's going to either take it away and I really want this, or B, I'm going to get in trouble for having it in my mouth. So we're going to try to correct that cycle of thought in our dog's head by engaging them with toys like puzzle toys like this, or toys in general. All right, what you can actually accomplish is put a food bowl, empty food bowl down. I have my treats in here or my food in here, and you can start to engage them with toys. And if they paw, nudge it, or anything, say yes, and you give them a cookie in the bowl. And then you can start to play again with the toy. Kitty. Oh, what a good job. Oh, super. Oh, what a good car. And yes, good job. And then give them food in the bowl. Some dogs have toy motivation and food motivation. Some dogs just have food motivation. It's important to try to engage both so that you have a various amount of ability while training your dog to do anything you want them to do. And dog agility is essential for me. Sometimes food is a better reinforcer in the situation and toys a better reinforcement and another. And sometimes both are great at the same time. So I like to have that. And when you're starting this out, like Mochi, this is what I had to do with him, is you just have to start off with just looking at the toy gets you some food. And if they look at the toy, they get food. Look at the toy, they get food. And eventually you're going to get them nose touching it. And eventually you're going to get them mouthing it. And eventually they're going to be tugging it. And just be patient with this and develop the toy behavior over time. And use those puzzle toys like we talked about to get even more motivation to put toys into their mouth and engage with toys with their paws and with you as well. Each week, I'm going to be offering you guys some sort of alternative reinforcement strategy so that way you have all different types of reinforcement, toys, verbal praise, pets, food, of course, and just being able to pull out any one of those types of reinforcers in given situation to help you be successful with your dog. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this series, and if you don't want to miss any more here on the Doggy Dojo, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell so you get notified when every single time a video comes up. And if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Thank you for joining us today here on the Doggy Dojo. As always, have some fun with your dogs, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.